Through its brands E1, Ferrara, KME, and Spartan Emergency Response, Rev Fire Group partners closely with fire departments to build and deliver modular design, custom pumpers, and aerials, providing the right solutions at the right time for those who protect their communities.
Hi, Mc Loone here with Fire Apparatus and Emergency Equipment. Welcome to this episode of our podcast, the last one for January 2026. This is due to be deployed on Monday, January 26th, 2026. And, if you are on the East Coast right now, if you are in the Mid-Atlantic area or much of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, parts of New York, you are looking at the potential for a pretty substantial snowstorm. So be out there, get those chains ready, make sure the on spots are working, but also get the chains for the outside rear tires ready, just in case this does come through. Of course, if you're watching this on Monday and nothing happened, then I'll have egg on my face. But hey, weather forecasters, they're allowed to get it wrong. I'm allowed to get it wrong too, but everything I've seen as of when I'm recording this is that there is something coming. Things can still shift around a little bit, but we're going to be expecting some weather, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and into Monday the 26th. So, everybody obviously stay safe. Brings me back a couple years ago. When we talk about weather, I remember a couple years ago it was a storm. I remember I work remotely. It was lunchtime, and we were expecting just snow on the grassy surfaces. That was what they were calling for. And I looked out the window, and the street was absolutely covered. It was wet snow. It was gloppy snow. It was very heavy snow. Then the calls started coming in, and you couldn't get anywhere because this surprised everyone. Because again, it was supposed to be on the just on the grassy surfaces was where we were supposed to find the snow, and it was just piling up, and nobody could get anywhere. Everybody was trying to get home from work. It was gridlock everywhere. Driving a fire truck was next to impossible. But we're driving along. We're on our way to a call. We're taking it easy. I forget if I had the on spots down. I do believe I did. And we were driving down this one street. All of a sudden, you started to hear it crack, crack, crack. This tree came down right in front of the truck. I had to come to a very, very fast stop, and it just reminds you that even when they get it wrong a lot, when we're lucky enough that nothing comes in, but every so often we do get one where it wasn't supposed to be anything, and it does become something, and there are a lot of challenges that come along with it. Because like Public Works is surprised, so they got to go back. They got to put the plows on. They got to get the plows loaded, the dump trucks loaded with salt, etc. But so if you're on the Mid-Atlantic and it's Monday, January 26th, and we end up having what we were forecast to get, stay safe out there. Wanted to talk about a couple of things in this episode. We're thinking about it's the end of January. I mean, of course, I'm already looking toward FDIC International 2026, which takes place at the end of April. It begins on April 20th, 2026, and of course, I'm anxious to see what some of the new trucks are going to hold. As my fire company is getting ready to they've put together a committee to design a new rescue truck. They are looking at a 5-year process by the time it's delivered. And there are some things that that they've asked me about. They're like, Chris, what is going on with the 2027 engines? I don't have a concrete answer to that yet. Every fire apparatus manufacturer out there is working on it. Every one of them might have a slightly different way of addressing the 2027 engines. For those who may not know, in 2027 there is due to new EPA regulations. As of right now, January 2026, there are EPA regulations that are going to require some new after treatment sections on the engines, and those after treatment areas and some basically maybe just the engine itself is going to create some design impacts. I say impacts. That's kind of a strong word. It's a little negative. There are going to be some design. Um, what's the word I'm looking for there? I guess we'll have to go with impact. These will impact how you design the truck. Um, there are there are impacts in the cab area. The doghouse might change a little bit depending on where things are placed on the engine. But also, we do expect that for example, in a pumper, that the compartment right behind the pump panel would be affected. In that, there would need to be a little space created in that compartment for some of the after treatment devices that are going to be parts of these new engines. But what you need to do is make sure you ask about it. Whoever you go with, whatever manufacturer you decide to go with, ask about how they are addressing the 2027 compliant engines. Because everyone might be a little different. You just need to know. You just need to know, because it impacts, when you are designing compartments and deciding where to place equipment, you need to know what the square footage of the inside of that, or the cubic feet of the inside of that compartment is going to be. You need that measurement, and if there is some impingement from the outside into there, you just need to know so that you can plan accordingly. So that's the 2027 engines. Another thing that came up, I was asked about seating now with some of the requirements of NFPA 1900. My best advice to that committee when they asked me about it was to get a copy of NFPA 1900, learn about it as much as you can, and then talk to the manufacturer. There are, when we look at the one or two of the trucks that we do have 4 seats right next to each other on 2 of those trucks. Will that be possible? Will it be allowed? Will it be compliant if you do that? These are all questions that need to be answered. So, again, NFPA 1900 has been in effect for a couple of years now. It was back in January of 2024 that it was introduced, that it came in, and we are still learning it today. It combined a number of different standards, so it's not quite as simple to find the information you're looking for as it used to be, but it is there. So make sure your committee has a copy of that. Make sure your department has a copy of that. Fire company, whatever it is on the volunteer side, has a copy of that, so that you can be as well versed in that as you possibly can. As with anything, all of the prep work you do before you get to that stage pays off huge when things get started, when you're ready to actually start putting that together. Along with that, don't forget to take a look at some webinars that we ran last year. Ricky Riley, one of our advisors, frequent author, frequent speaker at FDIC, fleet maintenance director for his department. He did a series of webinars for us on the pre-construction meeting, the engineering meeting, and the final inspection. Those are all still on our website. You can go there to www.fireapparatus.com/webinars, and they are all there archived. You just have to give us a little bit of information, some demographics, and then you're all registered up, and you can come back and watch it at any time if you have questions. But a big part of that pre-construction conference, that pre-engineering conference, is to know as much as you possibly can about the truck you want to design and the regulations and compliance requirements that go along with it. It's an exciting time. It's always an exciting time when we start to get reports at the monthly business meeting of the fire company, and the chairman of the truck committee gets up and gives his report of where the truck committee is at, and how much progress they've made and when they expect things to happen. And of course, getting permission from the company to spend the amount of money that we need to these days to purchase a new truck. Our specialty is rescue, so various disciplines. So this is an important vehicle for us, and of course, being able to justify how many seats, for example, to justify the equipment that's going to go with it, and to justify the need to purchase the new truck to begin with, is a big part of getting permission to spend that money. So, as luck would have it, we've always been able to watch our money in such a way that we're able to make it work. Strict budgeting is really what it comes down to, sticking to the budget that you put out there for yourself. I know, I say that, and I know there are people who are probably rolling their eyes and saying, yeah, it must be nice. And I don't mean it to come out like that, obviously. But I'm just saying, as luck would have it, we've been fairly responsible with our money, and we've never had too much trouble getting permission from the company. But make no mistake. I mean, we've got some very smart people in the fire company. They know what questions to ask the committee, and that will be gone over with a fine tooth comb before we put in the order for the truck. So, along with that, though, I wanted to mention we talked about Ricky, fleet maintenance. And one of the things that I just thought of when I was talking about us moving forward with, I say us, Weldon Fire Company moving forward with that rescue truck that the truck committee's putting together. Maintenance becomes critical. Maintenance right now in any fire department it's one of the most challenging aspects. I mean, there's always a challenge there. One of the biggest challenges is making sure that those rigs don't stay off the street too long. But as our rigs get older and we're waiting longer for the replacements, though they come in more frequently, things wear out, over time, and so they are coming in more frequently for repairs. They're coming in and spending possibly longer periods of time, because sometimes parts are not as easy to get a hold of for these things. Hopefully, mechanical items are still available. But maintenance right now is becoming critical, and maintenance of your front line and maintenance of your reserve fleet. When we look at some of the problems that we have occurred fire service wide over the past few years, some of the urgency to purchase a new rig was a result of maybe a maintenance program that needed to be tightened up a little bit. So make sure you reevaluate those maintenance plans. We've got in our February issue, we've got an article coming out on tires, how to identify them, how to establish how old they are. But the big key in all of it was collecting the data, so you know when to replace those tires, so that you don't have a catastrophic failure of that tire, which would lead to other repairs needing to be done. Maintenance is key. Data are key. So believe me when I tell you, it's not easy. It's not an easy thing, but there are a lot of programs out there that do try to make it easier for us. But, if it's as simple as having a sheet of paper that you've printed out for the past 30 years that has the information you need down on it, we still have paper truck reports that we put down the mileage and how far we went and all that. And it's actually just thinking of something like that. Back in 2021, we took delivery of 2 pumpers at once. Now, back in the day, you had your first out piece, went to all your structure fires and everything. That second pumper, back in the day, we probably called them booster pumpers, hydrant engines, whatever you wanted to call them. Our second due engine was usually on the hydrant, usually laying back to the hydrant, doing a reverse lay to the hydrant. Also, it was our brush rig. So anytime we had any kind of leaves on fire, brush on fire, we have some wooded areas in our district where, every once in a while we'd get something. That truck went out first. over time, and the mileage on that truck was significantly lower than that first out piece. And one of the things that we did was readjust the running order for certain calls so that we might be able to run both of them more equally. And it paid off. At our January monthly meeting, our chief engineer stood up and said, our plan from the beginning was to not run one of these into the ground. We've got X amount of miles on this one, X amount of miles on this one. Pump times were close. One had slightly more, but that's because that one goes out first on structure fires. But we were able to do that because we kept the data. The religiously filling out the reports on the trucks after we're done. After we're done a run. All of that is critical to the maintenance of the vehicle. We also have some preventive maintenance done by our dealer, and all of that is documented. Documentation is key. Documentation is going to allow you to look at the maintenance that you've done, do some predictive maintenance, say that part always, for whatever reason, on this particular vehicle, we've had to replace that particular part X amount of times. We got to keep them in stock. Just things of that nature. It could be something as simple as, my goodness, there was an electrical issue going to one of the compartment lights that we've never been able to fix, but we're going through bulbs like there's no tomorrow. Just in that compartment, it's never open. Something like that. Just those types of things that help you do that. And as we are continue to emerge. We have not emerged yet, but as we continue to emerge from the somewhat challenging purchasing atmosphere that we have been in for the past few years, making sure that you are maintaining your fleet properly and collecting the data from the fleet becomes critical. Along the way, it depends on what your system is, but I'll take a look at my fire company. We're going to sell the current rescue truck that we have. You want to have all the repair documentation. You want to have all of the preventive maintenance that's been done over the years. You want to be able to tell them how old those tires are and how old they were when the truck was delivered. That tires article I mentioned a little while ago talks about how 7 years isn't technically 7 years sometimes. So you're definitely going to want to take a look at that that article. Tires it's not something that I think are forgotten, but we might not always be in tune with what exactly the requirements are for them, especially from an NFPA compliance standpoint. Well, I've thrown out a bunch of things, and these are just kind of random things that come to mind as we're into this. Maybe I'm thinking about some of these things a little more because of the questions I've received from our truck committee regarding the truck that they're trying to design. But I just wanted to throw those things out there. FDIC is right around the corner. I mentioned that a little while ago. April 20th, registration is up and running. Hot classes are all on the site. Classroom sessions are all on the site, and of course, you're not going to find a bigger collection of apparatus and equipment in one place than on the show floor at FDIC. So I hope to see everybody out there. So this was just a few things that as we roll into 2026, I've been thinking of. Make sure that you continue to come and see the podcast. If there are topics that we haven't hit on, please let me know. I'm at chris.mcloone at clarionevents.com. Also, all of our webcasts, talked about webcasts too much in this. All of our podcasts are archived at www.fireapparatus.com/podcast. So again, this has been Chris McLoone with Fire Apparatus and Emergency Equipment. Have a good one, everybody, and stay safe.